No. 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 Now, are you one of those golfers who finds it incredibly frustrating that you get your tee shot away and it might be a long par 4 or par 5, you get 3-wood out, but you just never ever hit that perfect shot with 3-wood? And we get lots of tops, thins and fats. Well, if you are, you're very like I used to be. But the good news is by the end of today's video, you can understand how you need to hit 3-wood, because you might have been thinking about it wrong all these years. And we're going to get you hitting some of the best 3-woods off the ground that you've ever hit. So, the first thing I think golfers need to understand is that whenever the golf ball's on the floor, the way we get a good strike on the golf ball is that that club head needs to be traveling down as it strikes the ball, so that we hit ball and then ground. And that's even the case with 3-wood. Now, I know a lot of golfers, and I was told this as a kid, that we're trying to sweep the ball away. Now, the problem with sweeping it away is very often the club is moving up by the time it hits the golf ball. So at best we hit very, very low on the face. And if anything, we might hit halfway up the golf ball. Now, it's important to notice that when you look at the face of a metal wood, it's actually curved. So the loft on the face is very much the middle of the face, but lower on the face has got less loft and higher on the face has got more loft. So we're ideally looking to strike higher up the club face where there's more loft to get the ball flying high, flying further, getting some good ball speed. But in order to do that, first thing we need to do is get the lowest point of our golf swing ahead of the golf ball and have the shaft at impact leaning a little bit more forward. And that's going to promote higher up the club face for that strike and get you hitting some really, really good shots. Because I'm guessing, like me, your frustration probably is when the ball's on the floor, you just can't hit those shots. But put the ball on a fluffy lie or a little tee, and you're actually really, really good. So the first mistake I see a lot of golfers make is that they just get the ball way too far forward in the stance. So they might get the ball kind of opposite the left heel. And as a general rule, the low point, if you move well, will be kind of opposite your lead armpit. So you can see there, even with that, that's potentially not going to give me a great strike. And again, just a cold top, even though I know that I move pretty decently through impact. So the first thing we're going to change is ball position. So if I want you to think about, not maybe so much relative to your feet, but relative to your body. So the lowest point at address is opposite your sternum, and the furthest forward the ball should ever be is kind of maybe lead shoulder. So if I said we want to go halfway in between there for now, so definitely for a lot of golfers that's a bit further back than normal. And I want you to then just swing like it's an iron. So you're going to get to the top of your swing, shift hard onto that left side, and really focus on trying to touch the ground ahead of the golf ball. And for a lot of golfers, that feels very different, because what you'll see with most golfers, there's a lot of this going on through impact, and it's a real struggle to strike the ball, and particularly strike the ball in the correct place. So we're going to move that ball position a bit further back than normal, and just treat this very like an iron swing. And what you'll probably see there straight away is that the ball launches very, very low, 2 degrees. So the carry's way down at 155 and total only at 206. So, and that was because that was so low off the face that didn't really get enough of the ball for TrackMan to even read the strike. But we definitely saw there, my low point was still behind the ball. Therefore, the club was traveling up. Now that was pretty good compared to some of the shots I've hit. So you can imagine on those, low point being way behind. So the first thing I need to focus on is really getting that low point ahead of the golf ball. And that one, very, very different. Low point, 2.9 inches ahead. Club travelled down 3 degrees. Still launched at 8 degrees, only got to 66 feet peak height. But at 225 carry and 250 total, that's a very different golf shot. So That really, even for me, felt like I had to very exaggerate that move into that lead side and do it very, very early. So we want to do 2 or 3 of those and not really focus on trying to hit the ball higher up the face for now, just get that low point ahead. So that one right out the middle. Low point 1.7 inches ahead, club traveling down 2.2 degrees, launching at 12 degrees, peak high at 81, and carry now 233, and total 255. So it might take you a few goes to try and get a feel for that low point ahead, and if you need, use the drill that I use with irons, maybe draw a line, maybe an inch ahead of the golf ball and focus on that. But then, once you can get ball and then turf, and you actually start feeling it off the face, then the little challenge, and this will sound like an odd one, is I want you to feel like you're going to deliver less loft at impact. Now, like I explained, because the curve on the face is actually more loft higher up the face, even though you're trying to deliver less loft, there's a good chance with the strike you're going to launch it higher, keep that low point ahead, and start hitting some unbelievable 3-woods. So this is definitely the bit I struggle with most, trying to de-loft through impact. So I've got that ball not too far forward. Felt okay, a little bit heely. So launched at 10 degrees, club traveled down 3 degrees, 80 feet peak height, and 240 carry, and 260 total. So when we look at peak height, and I know I'm using TrackMan numbers here, and on the golf course you won't have these numbers, but as a general rule, a lot of golfers, I think once they get into 3-wood, even with a good strike, the ball never really gets to a height that's high enough for the ball to carry long. So it actually just might be that even at the end of this video, you're doing it great with 3-wood, but you might hit 5-wood or 7-wood further because there's a loft issue relative to your club head speed. But stick with it, because you might say, I don't mind losing some carry as long as the ball rolls out maximum. So again, going to set up ball position not too far forward, trying to deliver less loft at impact. And there we go. So again, a little bit out of the heel, but club traveling down 1.6 degrees, launching at 12 degrees, 86 feet peak height, 233 carry, and 254 total. And what I'm starting to see straight away, within a few swings for me, and I do say this a lot on the videos, it might take you a few more swings, is as my delivery is becoming more consistent and consistently better, we're starting to see a more consistent shot and distance of shot. Because early on, they were very consistent, it was just top, top. And that's why for a lot of guys, they want to hit 3-wood, but just never get it out the bag because they've got that concept of sweeping it away, they're striking it on the wrong part of the club face, and they just never ever deliver the club as we're discussing to compress the golf ball, use higher at the club face, and maximize that distance. So once you can be a little consistent with that, then the key is, can I get the ball even further out there? And that's just simply then down to, can I put a little bit more speed into the swing, but still maintain that delivery of the golf club? So we're going to set up, ball position's good. Again, felt solid, good strike, low point 1.5 inches ahead, club travel down 2 degrees, launching at just under 11, peak height nearly 100 foot, carry at 236 and total at 251. So if you can get out of that habit of getting that ball position way forward so that you're sweeping it away, first of all, you've changed the concept of how you're delivering that club. We don't want to sweep, the club has to travel down, but I don't want you to hit down, I just want you to get that low point ahead of the ball. So move your ball position back, straight away that'll improve the strike. Then the key is, rather than coming into impact this way, which is going to be low off the face, we want forward shaft lean, as we do with everything on the floor. You're going to start delivering the club better, striking the ball better than ever, and start hitting some unbelievable 3-woods from the ground.